Brad Marchand gets the monkey off his back. The Bruins win 4-3 in overtime against their division rivals, the Toronto Maple Leafs. And Brad Marchand denies there's any truth to a possible contract extension on the horizon. So buckle up, Bruins fans. I'm here to give you the latest info on your beloved Boston Bruins. If you've been liking my Bruins content, please leave me a like and subscribe. If you've already done so, thank you, and let's get into it. Before we get into the recap of the game, I wanted to talk about the news that a story that was talked about in between periods that Brad Marchand is close to a 3-year extension with the Boston Bruins. Sportsnet Elliot Freidman reported on Saturday's headlines segment of the Hockey Night in Canada that team's been struggling, but he had a strong week, completely diffusing any controversy about the exchange last week with Jim Montgomery on the bench in Utah. Freidman said, "The word is the Bruins and Marchand are getting closer on an extension expected to be 3 years. We'll see what happens in the next little bit, but the word is they're getting close." Marchand is in the final year of an 8-year, $49 million contract that he signed in 2016. Since signing that contract, he scored 248 goals and 644 points and played instrumental role in leading the team to the Stanley Cup final in 2019. Marchand was named captain ahead of the 23-24 season after the retirement of Patrice Bergeron and subsequently played all 82 games last season, posting 29 goals and 38 assists for 67 points. Now, after the game, reporters asked Marchand directly about the report from Freidman, and Marchand denied the report, but also mentioned he doesn't want to talk about his contract to the media.
Elliot Freidman reported that you're close to an extension. Any comment?
Elliot likes talking about me this week, Yeah, I mean, I mentioned this before. I'm not big about talking about contract stuff in the media. I'm not going to do it, but I mean, that report from Elliot is false. But I am not going to talk about my contract stuff in the media because if I was signed a 3-year extension, he signed, it just clearly Elliot is just wrong there. So
I'm going to believe Marchand on this one, as he's never been known to pull punches when it comes to discussing anything. Now, do I think Marchand resigns with the Boston Bruins before the season is over? Yes, 1000% I do. And there might be more truth to the rumor than Marchand is letting on, because I also think Marchand is being Marchand because he isn't impressed with Freidman right now. Freidman, on 32 Thoughts, the podcast, as I mentioned before, brought up the whole thing that happened on the bench in Utah between Marchand and Monty, which was a whole lot of nothing. Marchand's comment saying, "Elliot likes to talk about me this week," was very telling to me and fueled his response. I will keep a close eye on this one because I think something is there and we might see an extension not too long from now. I wanted to lead with it because Marchand extension is coming and something that needs to get done before the end of the season. We do not need any more drama in Boston this season. Now to the game. The Boston Bruins win 4-3 in overtime, defeat the Toronto Maple Leafs to end their 3-game skid. If I look very happy, it's because I live in Toronto and I truly want nothing more than the Boston Bruins to beat the Toronto Maple Leafs more than any team in the NHL. The first period of the game looked like one of the most complete periods of hockey this season for the Boston Bruins. No one scored any goals, but Swayman stood tall, and the Bruins had the Leafs hemmed in their own zone for the majority of the period. During the first period, the Bruins outshot the Leafs 10-2 5-on-5, which is outstanding. The Leafs didn't have a shot on goal for the first 10 minutes of the period. Going into this game, the Bruins players kept saying on how there was no way they would have a bad start against the Toronto Maple Leafs, and they weren't wrong because the Bruins came out flying in the first. I still wasn't a fan of their shot selection, and Pastrnak needs to shoot and pass less, but that didn't look like they were gripping their sticks at all. The Bruins were first to pucks, they had their forecheck tight, played a very good systems period, and their back checking was superb. The Leafs goalie Stolarz bailed them out because the Bruins had the momentum and the pressure the whole period, and it came from every line, not just one. Now, we move to the second, which had a little blip in it for the Bruins because while they played good, they had like a 5-minute stretch in total where they forgot how to play defense for some reason. After the game, Marchand said to the Hockey Night in Canada crew that the Bruins pulled out an ugly win, and I think he was referring to this period because, wow, did we see some players not taking the man? The Bruins play so soundly in the first only to let the Leafs up 34 seconds into the second by collapsing on Swayman, but somehow letting Matthew Nyes walk right in front to tip in a goal, and the Leafs are up 1-0. The good news, though, is the Leafs right now are taking stupid penalties just like the Bruins. And not long after the goal, the Bruins get to go on the power play, and who is left wide open in his office than none other than David Pastrnak. David Pastrnak rips his 6th goal in 9 games, and the game is tied. For some reason, I've seen a lot of people in my mentions going after Pastrnak, and it really puzzles me. He's literally the one guy on this hockey club that consistently is scoring goals. I'm not telling you how to fan, so you can throw blame at him all you want, but I just don't see it. Once again, the Bruins have all the momentum in this game, and I truly didn't see any push from the Leafs, but their goaltender is keeping them in the game. The Bruins are out playing the Leafs, and it's obvious, but you do get a playoff feeling while watching this game because both teams are hitting out there and playing very tight hockey. No one wants to make a mistake because you get the feeling when they do, the puck will go in the back of the net. And guess what? The Bruins make the next mistake, letting Morgan Rielly walk right down the middle of the zone, and Marner sends him a sweet pass, and the Leafs are up 2-1. I will be honest, when this one went in, I wasn't worried because I kept telling myself the Bruins have been the better team. And in my experience, very rarely do the Leafs pull out a win when the Bruins are better than them, especially on my birthday. The Leafs play the Bruins on my birthday almost every year, which I can tell you causes me stress. But in true Bruins fashion, the Bruins don't quit when playing the Leafs. Justin Brazeau decides to show the Leafs brass they shouldn't have given up on him, and Brazeau, once again, doesn't give up on a play. No one even touches him. He grabs the rebound, and it's a 2-2 hockey game. The play was weird as Poitras loses the draw, but doesn't give up on the play, steals the puck, gets a shot, followed by Frederic shooting the rebound, and then the puck pops out to Brazeau. If the Bruins had played like the Leafs players on this sequence, social media would have ridiculed them, and with good reason. The Leafs players looked terrible on this one, but nonetheless, it's a 2-2 hockey game. Less than a minute later, Johnny Beecher makes a sweet behind-the-back pass to none other than the resident sniper, Mark Kostelic. And it's a 3-2 Bruins game. The fourth line is such a breath of fresh air as they continue to be consistent and look like they've played together for years. The chemistry these three have right now is off the charts and truly one of the reasons the Bruins are not last in their division. David Pastrnak, who I'd mentioned before is scoring goals, takes a high stick from his best buddy, William Nylander, and loses another tooth. And the Bruins get a 4-minute power play, which they look terrible on. But for me, helps shave off some time on the game because at no time did I feel like the Bruins would score on this one. I thought to myself after it, if the Bruins hadn't gotten this power play, it might have gotten ugly because the play was terrible and the Leafs probably would have capitalized on it. Right before the period ends, Trent Frederic decides to get a stupid penalty and that the Leafs might get back into this one, but the good news is the period ends and it's 3-2 Boston. To start the third, the Leafs have a power play, but if you watch said power play, you would think the Bruins are on one because the Leafs look lost and can't string passes together. Swayman makes some nice saves, and he had a great game, but he also didn't have to be awesome because the team in front of him was playing great. The Bruins almost always came out of the corner with the pucks. They had their legs moving all night, and they played a very solid team game. They look like the team we all thought they would be at the start of the season. The Leafs pull their goalie, and I get a bad feeling in my stomach because they're all over the Bruins, and the Bruins can't clear the puck. Swayman makes some huge saves, and Marchand gets the puck with an empty net, and kind of fans on it. And the puck goes the other way. The Bruins decide to stop playing defense and leave Austin Matthews, of all people, all alone in front of the net, and it's a 3-3 hockey game. Still, though, I went into OT feeling good for some reason. Even though this team has been letting me down consistently this season, I had confidence they would win this one. We go into OT, and in the beginning of OT, the Leafs are outplaying the Bruins. But Swayman shuts the door, and then it happens. Austin Matthews throws a pizza pass to David Pastrnak for some reason, and the puck is going the other way. Pastrnak fakes the shot, makes a pass to Marchand, who gets robbed on the doorstep. But Marchand doesn't give up on the play, taps in the rebound, and the Bruins win an OT. That was Marchand's first of the year, and you know that one felt extra special because it was against Toronto. Marchand's the captain of this team and decides to be a leader on the ice and off the ice because after the game, Marchand spoke to the media and continued to sound like a captain that he's been all season, which is team first.
Hey, an important result tonight. How good did that one feel?
Yeah, it did feel good. You know, it was nice for the group to get rewarded for playing the right way. You know, sometimes you do it for a period or two and it doesn't go the way that you want it to, and you start switching up and get back into bad habits. And we didn't do that tonight. Even when they scored late, we just continued to play the right way. You know, and it paid off. It doesn't always, but it's not definitely nice when it does.
Take us onto the bench when they tied it up. How was the attitude? How was everything?
It was actually fine. guys were composed, coaches were composed. There was a confidence that we still could get it done, and we still had that opportunity. So I liked their attitude after they scored that third goal.
I'm sorry, is this a confidence builder for you guys winning a game like this?
Yeah, it's one game. It's not going to completely turn things around, but it's a great way for us to realize that when we play the right way, we're a good team. And that's a great group over there, very offensive, and it's a great way to start building our foundation, understanding the way that we need to play to have success, and something to build on. But again, it's one game.
Brad, emphasize anything over the last couple of days that sort of put it back in form?
Just details. I thought our details were really good tonight. Obviously you're not going to be perfect all the way through, which we weren't, but we were definitely better. And that's where you win and lose games, is in the details. So, especially against a team like that that's extremely offensive, you can score, has some big weapons. Details matter even that much more. So it was good in that area.
Bit of a monkey off your back just to get that first one and to have it be that one.
Yeah, it is. I've been through many different stretches in my career, good and bad, and you get a saving Keeled. I wasn't getting too caught up in it, but it is nice to get that one out of the way for sure.
Why you said you're the embodiment of what it means to be a Bruin. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's a pride when you put this jersey on and you're part of this organization to come in and compete and buy in, and been definitely fortunate to follow a lot of great players throughout this organization, the time here, and you learn to compete and battle, be part of it, but I think we all feel that way, coaching staff, training staff, everybody in this organization feels proud to be part of this group. That's all it is, when you wear your pride in your jersey.
I truly have been impressed on how Marchand has handled himself with the media this season, and after tonight's win, dare I say, sounded an awful like Bergeron. I said before the game this was a must-win, and I meant it. And you could feel it from the fan base and the way the players talked about the game. They needed to win this one, and none better to get it against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They played a very good team game and had no passengers because everyone seemed to play well. Sure, they had some giveaways, but they back-checked, they forechecked, and they played a very good sound hockey game. I thought Patra played well with Marchand and Coyle, but I did notice in the second, Montgomery put his lines in a blender a bit again, but I think it had a lot more to do with the penalties and needing guys to get some ice time more than anything. It was Marchand's 78th game-winning goal as a Bruin and made him third all-time, right behind Patrice Bergeron, who has 81. It was also an NHL record making for Marchand. He's now the third player in NHL history to have 20 overtime winning goals. The only other two players to score 20 or more are Sidney Crosby with 20 and Alex Ovechkin with 26. That is some amazing company to keep for Marchand. My hope is the Bruins can build off this win and take it to their next game against Philadelphia Tuesday night. The Bruins are now tied for third in the division, and the heat has come off the players and the coach just for a little bit. That's a wrap on today's video. To stay up to date on all the news surrounding the Boston Bruins, please subscribe and drop me a like. If news breaks surrounding the Boston Bruins, be sure to check out the channel. If you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you, and I'll see you next time.